Well, poo-poo-rooski. The wife and I got in the car this morning to go to a doctor's appointment, and that's all we got was clickety-clickety-click. What we have is a 2017 Ford Edge with about 75,000 miles. It don't have a whole lot of miles. And it looks like the factory battery took a poo on us, so we're going to get that replaced. And as you can tell, this is a cab over design, and we're going to have to basically remove some stuff just to get the battery out of this thing. I'm going to go ahead and put my battery tester on here. Let's go ahead and put the ground clamp to the ground here. Come on. And we're going to put the positive to the positive battery, like so. Make sure we got a good connection. And we are going to start this process. Let's see. It says it got 0 volts. That means that we don't have a good connection somewhere. Alright, there we go. Now we got some voltage. So let's go to enter battery test. It's an AGM battery with a flat plate, and the cold cranking amps is 760. Go down a little bit and then hit enter. Bad battery, please replace. Now this battery currently only had 102 cold cranking amps at 7.54 volts. And the health is only 2%, so yeah, she gone. Got a good life out of that battery. Got almost or over 5 years out of that battery. I think my wife says it's 5 years and 2 months old. Now that negative terminal is buried under here, so what I'm going to do, hopefully, I'm going to take loose the battery clamp hole down here, and I'm going to slide the battery back as far as I can until it touches the air box, and maybe we can get to that negative post pretty easy. And it's a long-winded bolt. Now let's just see if we can move this battery back some. Oh yeah. Alright, we should be able to get this with a ratchet wrench, and of course it's a 10mm, not an 8. I've had this set of Cornwell ratchet wrenches for nearly 20 years. They have served me so well. You may be asking, why are you taking the hardest one to get to first off? Well, if you start jacking with the positive, what happens if you accidentally touch your wrench to something solid metal? You're going to ground out. So you want to disconnect the negative first, always. Now I can wiggle this cable now since it's loose, but I need just a little bit of help on that cable there. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remove this air box, or at least the top. Once you get these two screws loose, the air box is just held in place with a rubber grommet on the bottom, and this whole assembly should pull out. Now to get your wires in the way. Now we got some room to work with this battery. Let's get the cover out of the way. Just kind of set it over here on the side. You can just leave your wires attached. Careful not to get any dirt or anything down on the air temperature sensor. Now let's see what we can come up with. Slide this thing back a little more, if it will. Keep her there. Now I want you to look at that. I'm having one heck of a time getting this cable off the battery. Look how that it's mushroomed over. See how the cable is around it and it's mushroomed over. I'm gonna have to knock this lip off of this battery lug so that I can slide this up. Ain't that something? Something so simple that they screwed up at the factory. It looks like they might have just tightened it down too much. But you see what I'm talking about? How this lip right here is making it to where I can't lift that battery cable over the battery lug. Crazy. Guys, I got no choice. I'm gonna have to loosen up my positive so that I can get this battery out of here. Go ahead and remove this 11mm. Alright, so we're just going to remove this ground out of the way, push it down. Now we should be able to slide this battery out even further. Just like that. Now we can work on it. See what in the actual heck is going on here. Yeah, just like I thought. So I'm literally just going to take my pliers and see if I can't ream off the top of this battery here. we go. Alright, so I went and got a battery, and I called around just like every red-blooded American around here wants to get the best price. And guys, I was shocked, but I was able to get one from my local Ford dealer, cheaper than I could at these chain discount auto parts stores. Now I waited a couple hours after getting the battery. As you can tell, here's the sun. It's fixing to start setting right behind my shop here, and it shades this area pretty good. So now my work area is in the shade, which it's still 104 degrees out here right now. But we got a little bit of wind, and I do believe we can go ahead and get this battery plugged back in here. Go ahead and set it in the battery tray and push it forward just enough to get your positive cable on, and go ahead and torque that down. You don't have to kill it, just, you know, use common sense. It ought to be good right there. Now we can slide the negative cable on, and it's got a little plug on it. As you can tell, that's isolated or insulated from the main connector there. Must be some sort of sensor they use to monitor that battery voltage. I never had a light come on or anything like that. It just was working fine one day, and come out the next morning and she was deader than a doornail. Let's go ahead and get your cable cinched down over that post there. It looks good. Let's give that a tighten. Again, you don't have to kill it, just snug it. If you over tighten it, you'll do just like the other installer did whenever they built the car. Over tighten it and mushroom that on over. So let's go ahead now we can shove the battery all the way back, and I'm going to go ahead and install the battery hold down while we're there. That goes right there. Go ahead and install your ground strap. Go ahead and plug your wiring harness back down. With this little keeper. Go ahead and flop over the battery. Oh, you know what I do want to do though is just test this new battery just to see, for grins and giggles. We'll do that in a minute. Don't forget the wire, the sensor wire that we unplugged previously. And plug it back into the, if I don't get my big fat head in the way here. Now before I slide this air box back in, I'm going to put just a little bit of silicone paste on these rubber grommets. Not a lot, just enough to give them a drink since they've been kind of dry for a while. And that's going to aid in stabbing that box down in there so you don't have to wrestle those little crazy little ball ends that they stab down into right here. One here and one there. Did it go that time? Yes sir, it did. Oh yeah. Just gotta hold your mouth just right. Let's go ahead and install the screws that hold the air box in. These were a 7mm. Slide your air filter in, making sure to tuck all the corners in good. Get all your paper pleats down in there good. You don't want any outside air getting in, or unmetered air, unfiltered air getting in. So just take an extra few seconds and just make sure you got that air filter in there correctly. Alright, now install our air box, our air filter cover, just like that. Alright, click your air filter latches over and then plug in your AIT sensor, and that should be it. Let's give it a crank. Oh wait, tighten up your snorkel or your hose here. Make sure it's, I'm gonna charging system test. go ahead and do a battery test. Regular flooded, nope, it's a AGM flat plate. Cold cranking amps. 760. Says the battery not bad, just needs to be charged. Probably been sitting on the shelf for a little while. Has 600 cold cranking amps in it right now, and I'm sure after it sets, after it's charged up, after we drive it, those numbers will probably go way up. Guys, I'm not going to put that little sheath around that battery. We don't live in Antarctica, and we don't need anything wrapped around our batteries to keep even more heat in, especially when it's 104 degrees here in Texas. Guys, I am absolutely in love with this little set of sockets that Milwaukee sent me. They're round, but they're square on the bottom. You can put a wrench on there, or if you get in a tight spot and you don't have enough room for a ratchet, put a wrench on there. And one of the, you know, what happens usually whenever you drop one of these sockets on your shop floor, they roll. Not these. Clunk, 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 and they stop rolling. Ain't that slick? I want to give a shout out to TECHSCHOICE tools. Go check them out. I'll put a link in there in the description below with their website. Matt SLEDGE over at TECHSCHOICE tools. He gave me the hookup on these. Absolutely love my little fuel ratchet. Alrighty guys, hey, if you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And while you're doing that, go ahead and click that bell so that you get all of my new videos. Y'all have a good rest of your day. More Medic Wont.